So you might have noticed by the thumbnail that we still are not finishing up Noah's Ark. And I know we left that off in a cliffhanger, and you're probably all looking forward to hearing us talk about those animals that we promised a couple of weeks ago. But we're not going to do it tonight. And, one reason is animation is hard. You guys are just like leeches trying to take all of our creativity away from us and just sucking inside. That's not what I meant to talk about. No, honestly, we thought there were some more important topics that we wanted to discuss this evening. Mainly the Insurrection Commission hearings from January 6th are going on right now. And there's some really big news stories, at least to us, that we thought we would like to share. A lot of these stories are really hard to talk about because they show just the depths that the Christian nationalists are willing to sink to when it comes to covering up their own problems and their own hatred and their own willingness to violently attack and overthrow this country. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that in the second half of this show. I just want everybody to be clear. I'm not really a big follower of the Democrats. And, it's not that just because of my political leanings, I don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a character I didn't like long before he even ran for an election. I mean, if you've ever watched one of his shows on TV, you could see what kind of, used car salesman schmuck this guy was. And giving him the keys to our government was clearly a mistake from the beginning. But that's the thing. I don't give Donald J. Trump a lot of credit for being what is wrong with this country, because it's the people who empower him that I fear more. These nationalists, these Christian nationalists, basically used him as a ploy to get themselves into government. And you look at some of the policies that he passed during his term, where, like the Johnson Amendment, which no longer is in effect, that specifically made it so that churches that used their pulpits as political platforms were tax exempt. That churches could not donate to political candidates. There's a lot of things now that they've got their hands into here in the United States that even without Donald Trump in office, we need to be worried about. And we've got a fight ahead of us. And that's why we would like to point out some of these stories. Jimmy, he doesn't live here in the United States. He's got a different perspective on this. What do you think of what's currently going on?
I think it's really scary. The whole world's watching you guys. I don't know whether you're aware of it or not, but I think you guys are aware that your country's kind of important in the scheme of things. And when stuff happens to you guys, it affects everyone else. The ripple effect is crazy. When the 2008 financial crash happened because of your banking system and because of the messed up practices that were happening, it affected us. I lost my job. I'm in Canada. What the fuck do I have to do with your banks? Nothing. But it still affects us. And these wars and these coups and everything else, you've played yourselves into the position of world leaders. Fine. Can't do anything about that. But having Donald Trump in, oh my God, that was scary. And what happened on January 6th, that was terrifying. It was terrifying for all of us watching, because it's like, get your fucking shit together. What the hell's going on? That was nuts. So, yeah, this is crazy. We have a vested interest too. And plus, we're your neighbors here in Canada. We care about you guys. We want you to do well. We all want you to do well. Don't fucking put Trump in again. God.
And that's what I said. Even if we don't get if we don't get Trump himself, They're just lining the dominoes up to put somebody else in who they're going to do the same thing. You're going to see the whole Messiah complex come to the next candidate. You're going to see the Facebook posts about how this man tirelessly works for the American people, and he's the only thin line between you and those liberal demons that are coming to take away your Bibles and your guns. This is what we're here to fight. And we do it by telling really bad jokes and making stupid videos. So you're welcome, everyone. This is Faith Not Included. It is the show where we talk about those crazy conspiracy theories and crazier religious claims. I'm your host, Skids the Clown. With me this week, the only man moister than that chocolate cake that he ate for dinner and breakfast and lunch, the Reverend Brother Heathen, Jimmy Lou.
Thank you, Skids. I always love Thursdays. You know why? Because we get to do our thing together. I love it. I love this show. I love our people that watch. I love everything about this. And guess what? I also love, Skids. I love making new friends. I made a new friend today, Skids. I made a new friend.
You made a new friend. Really?
I did. His name is Stanley.
Stanley, that's a nice name.
He's a very nice name, and he sounds like a very nice gentleman. And he's like Christian gentleman, and he messaged me on Facebook.
A Christian?
Yes, yes, he
messaged friends with him.
Me. Yes.
And what did he message you about?
Oh, he wanted me to look at his nice Christian YouTube channel, and then we got talking, and he wants me, little me, to come on and debate him on his show. Oh.
Wait! You're gonna debate somebody?
Yeah.
Are you good at debating? I don't think I've ever seen you really debate. I mean, yeah, you've had great conversations, but I mean, this is like on YouTube. You got to be like serious about this.
Yeah. Well, it's just so you know, Skids, and he doesn't know, but I have a little reputation on the internet, especially in the old social media circus. Okay. And what he doesn't understand is I got fucking 20 years of fucking experience under my fucking belt. I got 20 years experience following that horse shit. I have 20 years on my knees, begging, praying to a God to listen to my prayers, going through the scriptures, following it with everything I had. 20 years I suffered. 20 years I plied and sought the face of the Lord. And you think you're gonna debate me, Mr. Stanley? I don't think so. This is gonna be a slaughter. You better bring your A game, mister, because I don't bring a B game. It's only A pluses for me, sir. I'm the cream of the crop, and you have messed with the wrong Reverend Brother Heathen, because I'm coming for you, Stanley. This Monday, 8:15 Eastern, I'm coming for you. You better bring it, because I'm excited, and I'm hungry. And I'm gonna give you a cognitive dissonance before you fucking even know it. So let's bring it. It's gonna be fun. Back to you, Skids.
I'm actually kind of scared right now.
And he's a great friend, and he's got a last name that's a first name. So he's got to be cool. It's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna have so much fun. It's gonna be great.
I have nothing more to add to this, so I think we'll do some headlines.
Okay. I love that song.
I know, that is so
Oh, it
happy.
just gets me in the mood to listen to some headlines. Give it to me, Big Daddy. Let's
Well,
do this.
Since we're going to do a whole segment on the January 6th stuff, we decided that we're going to do some fun stuff for our headlines today. So let's see what we're
Yay.
going to start with today.
Okay, what are we doing?
It was a big mistake to educate women, according to right-wing radio host Jesse Lee Peterson.
Hold on. Before you start. Sorry you start. Why did you warn me you're going to do a Jesse Lee Peterson bit? If none of you guys know this guy's a real fuckhead. He's a real fuckhead.
I didn't know about this guy before this story. I feel like I must have been missing something. So tell us a little bit about who Jesse is, or Jesse Lee,
Jesse Lee
Peter,
Peterson.
or whatever.
Yes, Jesse Lee Peterson is a real life, for realsies, white supremacist person of color.
What?
If you guys have ever watched the Boondocks cartoon, he's a real life Uncle Ruckus. He just thinks the white man is the greatest thing since that God ever created. So please tell me about this stupid story of Mr. Peterson.
All right. So right-wing radio host Jesse Lee Peterson, who said in the past that Amy Coney Barrett didn't belong on the Supreme Court because she ought to be in the kitchen, and that the election of the Republican women have weakened the GOP, moderated a group on a very pressing question. Was it a mistake to educate women? According to his panel, the answer was yes. Before I go into this story, I'm going to say right now, if you've ever watched this show before, there's a little award that all these people are gunning for. It's called the Skids the Clown Most Punchable Face Award.
He needs to be at the top, Skids.
I haven't even got to the story yet, and he's making a great climb for it right now. So we better keep our eye on him. He might be the winner.
He's an up-and-comer for sure.
So this story was published on the Friendly Atheist webpage, and they've got a little bit of a discourse from his last show. So Jesse Lee Peterson kind of started out the question and answer segment by saying, I want to know, was it a big mistake to educate women? Hake, he's asking producer Hake. Wait a minute, I don't like the sound of that. We have a producer. We have we have a very nice producer. That's producer Wes.
I like producer.
Can you at least say hi to everybody? See, he's already made more sense in that one sentence than everything that we've talked about so far. You like that? I thought that was funny. Anyway, so he asked his producer, was it a big mistake to educate women? His producer said, yeah. Peterson asked back, so why was it a big mistake to educate women? His producer's answer was, because look at them. They're already like conceited and they think they know better without that stuff. Because that's a coherent sentence. Peterson replied, so not only was it a mistake for women to vote, yeah, he said that, it was a mistake to let them be educated as well. His panelist and producer said, right. Asking one of his other panelists, he posed the same question. His panelist said, yeah, seems like it. So the conversation went to that one girl. This is their quote. That one girl, she got shot in the face by some Muslim radicals. She was like 13 years old, and she'd be like 13 years old. Yes, they repeated it twice. I'm trying to give you that full educated experience from these educated panelists about how women shouldn't be educated. And she got shot in the face because she wanted to be educated. So what they're implying here if you didn't get it, is that it was her fault for wanting to be educated for the fact that she got murdered.
She didn't get murdered. They're talking about Mohali.
Yes.
She didn't get murdered, but she did get shot in the face. It was brutal.
She got shot in the face.
Yeah.
So one of the panelists said, on the education thing too, I realize you kind of have to have love and logic of a man to protect yourself from getting into education. So as men, our job is to protect our women from being educated.
Oh my God. Like, we don't even need to add any parody to this fucking like sentences. This thing just read it on its own. It's a comedy of errors all through.
Yes. So one of his other producers finished up the quote with this line. He said, in one sense, it was a mistake to educate women, but I mean, it was done on purpose for nefarious reasons. The quality of everyone's life, the quality will continue to go down and down and down until we're literally in hell unless we turn this thing around. And what does he mean by turning things around? By not letting women be educated. That's what they're talking about. You know what? Hold on here. You know what? What's this guy's name again? Jesse Lee Peterson. You are top of the list right now for that Punchable Face Award. I don't see anybody coming on anywhere close after this.
I know. He is a strong win. He's a heavyweight, I'm telling you. But listen, this is part of how we attack religion and this like backwards thinking. You lift women up. Yes. You lift women up. You promote true equality of women. We lift our sisters up. No religion, none of these harmful religions can stand to women being equal with men. None. So we lift our sisters up, lift them up, like, and make these void, like, because this guy's been going on a long time. Why do these assholes keep coming around spewing their garbage? Skids, why?
I just don't get it. There's one comment here. Gee, the more everyone receives a good education, the more successful a country is. Thank you, atheist. So yeah, if your goal is to raise a country up, I don't see why educating half of the population, regardless of what gender they are, is a bad thing. How is this even a conversation?
Because it goes against the Bible.
Exactly. So, speaking of going against the Bible, I got another great story for you.
Tell me. I can't wait. Can't wait.
So, a Texas man was jailed for setting a home on fire to punish his family for not following the Bible.
God.
So this story, I don't want to make too much fun of it because a man actually died in this story. But we have to bring stories like this to light.
Yes.
So yes. I'm going to use his name. Once again, this is a story from Friendly Atheist, and a Texas man named Philip Daniel Mills is in jail after allegedly setting his brother's home on fire last Thursday in an attempt, this was planned, to kill him. After spreading gasoline taken from one of their mowing implements, he poured it all over a living room sofa, then set fire to it. Now, just in case this fire didn't kill his brother and his mother, he apparently waited outside of the home with rocks to throw at him as they tried to escape.
Oh, just for good measure, eh?
Yeah. I wonder where he got that idea from stoning somebody. that's kind of interesting.
Jeez. Imagine that. A religious person getting upset because you don't follow what they think is right.
Now, we're not just speculating here, because in an affidavit filed by the El Paso Police Department, the reason for this attempted murder had everything to do with Christianity. That affidavit claims that Mills caused the fire because he was upset his brother and mother did not follow the Bible. And the document states that Mills intentionally broke into the house, broke a television, and then threatened to burn down the house. His claim was he was there to purge the evil from the home. Now, his brother Paul died in this fire. His mother escaped with severe burns and was taken to the hospital, and she remains in critical condition as the time of this story was written.
Wow. Wow.
So, according to the affidavit, when officers told Mills that his brother had died and his mother was in the hospital, he laughed and advised the investigators that he was shocked that both of his mother and his brother did not perish, and called it a failed attempt.
Oh, God, what a piece of trash.
The story kind of finishes out in a very well-rounded way, because it says, while Mills has a criminal record, there's no evidence of mental illness, which means that he was in the right state of mind when he committed these acts, which basically means he was doing so because the Bible instructed him, that he felt that according to the Bible, this was the right thing to do.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he was probably right. He could find something in there that they were doing that the Bible says is worthy of death. That's just the straight up truth of it.
Yeah. There are plenty of things. They could have been wearing, a blend of fabrics. They could have been eating shellfish. They could have been picking up sticks on a Saturday. I mean, there's all kinds of things that are just mundane that are worth if he's following the Bible, for him to do such an act.
What about slavery? Do you think he had a problem with them having slaves? If they had
slaves? No. The Bible's okay with that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It gives you specific instructions on where you're supposed to purchase them, how long you can keep them, ways around that so that you can keep them even longer, all this stuff. So, right. I'm sure it had nothing to do with them and their keeping of slaves.
Yeah, but if they were picking up sticks on a Saturday, but come on, I'm sorry. They deserved it according to the Bible. He was only doing what the Bible told him to do.
He was being a good Christian.
That's right.
And that's the thing. There's nothing in the affidavit that says why he felt that they needed to be purged, why they deserved to be, horribly burned to death. So we don't know, were they Christians and not quite following what he believed the true path to salvation was? Did they not believe as strongly as him? We don't know. They could have been atheists.
Not atheists.
I know. It's just scary. So that's the thing. Yeah, again, I don't want to make fun of a story where somebody dies. But
you're right.
At the same time, we have to point this stuff out. So that's
No one's laughing about a guy dying. No one's laughing about this violence. We're just laughing at what a shithead this guy is and how fucking repulsive the Bible is, and no one's still cluing in of how dangerous this shit it can be.
Exactly. So with that said, I believe Wes has a tip for us. Let's go ahead and give it a watch.
Run, child, run, don't let him catch you. Run, child, run, don't let him catch you. Run, child, run, don't let him catch you. Leave him far behind. Oh, keep on praying, he can't get you. Keep on praying, he can't get you. Keep on praying, he can't get you. Leave him far behind. Oh, run, Jesus, he can't get you. Run, Jesus, he can't get you. Run, Jesus, he can't get you. Leave him far behind. Oh, Die is right down behind you. Die is right down behind you. Die is right down behind you. Leaving far behind. Oh, run, child, run, go on to glory. Run, child, run, go on to glory. Run, child, run, go on to glory.
Hi. Sorry, I had to think all real quick.
That's good advice, Wes, by the way. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Wes.
So for our last story of the night, how can it get any better?
No, I can't. I don't know how you top that.
The religious right continues to push their whitewash history and restrict teaching about systematic racism.
Oh my God. Can I just point out again, people at home, we're on here doing this shit because these people are like cartoon villains. This is insane.
Exactly. It shouldn't be this much of a issue to want to push education. Yeah, it's almost like, what was that, the episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns actually wanted to go steal candy from a baby. And that's the kind of cartoon supervillainy we're dealing with. Mm-hmm. It's that low of a bar that they keep setting. But this is a long story. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with it because we've talked about this over and over again.
Yeah.
But what I like to point out about these stories is the fact that there's one quote in here that I do have to read. They actually believe that critical race theory and the fight against it is a spiritual battle. And quote, the only antidote to the victim mindset of critical race theory is identity in Christ.
Oh my God. Oh, I feel dirty. You just saying that shit. I feel dirty. I feel icky.
Again, I don't understand what the religious right's problem with educate. Well, I take that back. I do, because it pretty much takes away their entire foundation of their belief system. But all critical race theory is trying to do is, one, trying to actually show history as it has been manipulated by the people in power, which, of course, in the United States for the last, 250 years has been white supremacy. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. That does not change my point of view about the way I feel about my opportunities in this country. It does not change about what I want to do as what I feel as a patriot on making this country better, not only for myself and my family, but for everybody in the country. It's okay to admit that things in this country were not always perfect. So why do they have such a hard time at least just saying, okay, things weren't always great, but we can make them better? That's all they have to do.
Well, it is a pretty well-known fact that racism is pretty rampant in Protestant in the United States.
But they all say they're not racist, though.
Oh my God. It's all rooted in this tribalism. Like, here's an NBC article. All right. It's talking about racism among white Christians is higher among the non-religious. That's no coincidence. For most of American history, the light-skinned Jesus conjured up by white congregations demanded the preservation of inequality as part of the divine order. It's all written in their scriptures.
Yeah. And as much as they try to say, because one line that I hear over and over again is that, this is basically a device to divide the races even further. That the whole point of critical race theory is to, take down the white Christians a notch. Well, take down the white people down a notch and lift up everybody else above them. It's not. That is not the point. It literally is helping us learn from past mistakes and seeing the impact That way people don't repeat it. And we say this all the time. And I've heard Christians say this. It's like, well, why are you tearing down the statues of these famous Confederate soldiers? They're part of history. Guess what? So is this. This is part of history. Why not embrace it?
The whole point about learning from history is so that we don't repeat it and that we hopefully become better. That's the whole point. And you can't become better unless there's healing. And you can't have healing until there's accountability and there's acknowledgement. Malcolm X said it best. He says, if you stuck a knife 9 inches into my back and pulled it out 3 inches, you're not doing me any favors. You still have it in there 6 inches. You got to pull it out. There has to be healing to go forward. We have to be better. We have to be better. History sucks. People were really bad to each other. We got to learn and get better.
So it's not a device to worsen the relationship between the races here in the States. That's not what this is talking about. So anytime you keep hearing about the right and the Christian right fighting this, they're literally fighting tooth and nail on having this. You got to wonder, is it because they really see there's harm in this, or the fact that they're going to be exposed for their part in what was probably some of the biggest atrocities here in the history of the United States? I kind of think it's the latter.
Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to be discussing more of this in the second half of the show.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell the people, but we got a very special guest tonight. I'm so excited. I'm very excited.
Actually, he's backstage right now.
Oh, he isn't. Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God. I can't believe we got him. I can't believe this is awesome. Tell him who we got. Tell him who we got.
Bring him in now.
Just tell him who we got. Tell him.
We got Andy Hall on this show. Let's bring him in.
We got Andy fucking Hall. Oh, shit, yeah. Fuck yeah, the party started. Fuck yeah. Andy fucking Hall. Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. Can't believe it.
Hold on. You literally need to bring this down a notch.
No, I can't. Not with Andy here, because he brings the party and it's ready to fucking rock now. Your old fucking chopped liver now. We got the fucking man here. Oh, I can't.
Do I need to put you in
Andy Hall.
Do I need to put you in timeout? Sorry, I gotta put him in a timeout. Okay.
That was incredible.
We've got him muted. He's gonna just sit there in awe and just kind of relax and just take a breath. So Andy, thank you for coming on the show. Can you, while he's kind of taking a little bit of a break, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of why you feel that you have something to contribute to this conversation?
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm a fan of the show.
Well, thank you.
And my name's Andrew Hall. I blog at a non-religious channel on Pathos. The name of my blog is Laughing in Disbelief. You may not know me, but you've probably have read some of my work. I lampoon the religious right. I lampoon evangelical Christians. I've run co-ran the podcast, The Naked Diner, for a number of years. I have a YouTube channel, Laughing in Disbelief too. And, I saw it coming. I predicted Trump was going to win the election in 2016. I had a bunch of people come on my show, The Naked Diner, tell me I'm full of crap. And then it was I thought it was pretty predictable on what Trump was doing. He has a very simple playbook through his presidency. And actually, after he lost the election on November 3rd, I knew that it really wasn't over until the electoral votes got counted on January 6th.
Yeah.
When I was doing the morning show on my channel, I was literally holding up little sticky pads with the dates about when the electoral votes go to Washington, D.C. When do the electors get chosen? Because I think the big problem with our community and with humanity and with our society in general is that we tend to be complacent. we tend to be complacent. And unless there is real imminent danger, we just tune out.
Yeah. Oh, I am so sorry, Andy. I forgot. We actually have another guest. We got a surprise guest in here. I didn't want to interrupt our other thing yet, so let me kind of start introducing him. And Jimmy's just sitting there adoring you. He's so cute. But I found this guy who is a conspiracy theorist. And he has a lot to say about the Trump election and just kind of what's going on in general. So I think he's ready to come on. Ike Jones, have you ever heard of Ike Jones?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, let's bring him onto the stream.
1 second. Wait,
what?
Oh, 1 second.
What do you
1
got?
second. Sorry.
Ike Jones? Oh,
Mike Jones, thank you for having me on. Thank you. I really appreciate this. I'm on an undisclosed location because I have some very important things I want to share with you and your guests on the show tonight. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Skids the Clown. As you know, I am your conspiracy correspondent out in the field, and I have discovered some I've discovered some very disturbing things, and I want to share with your audience, and I have to be in hiding right now because the elites don't want you to hear this. No, I'm here to tell you first thing. And oh my God, so forget about the Rockefellers, forget about the Waltons, forget about the Gates, the Bezos, forget about it. They're all small peas. It's the Renoir family. Yes, you might not Renoir. You might not have heard of it, and that's by design. They are so filthy rich, you can't even hear about them whispering their name. I gotta be careful. Oh, very dangerous and top of the tippy top of the food chain of the elites. Now, the Renoir family controls everything. They made their money in the dollar mines. And ever since then, they have used their vast wealth and influence to gain more wealth and influence to control the population and to serve their dark lord Satan and his demonic agenda of controlling the human race and feeding them to lizard people. Now, I'm telling you, they're the ones that are responsible for Justin Bieber, so you know they're really evil. So
I don't think that sounds plausible.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I don't believe this.
They have
They
have a two-part plan. I'm telling you, Skids, they got a two-part plan. The first part, they're spraying fluoride on the corn. They're spraying fluoride on the corn. They're making the scarecrows gay. They're controlling do you understand what is made out of corn? Skids, it's not just your corn chips and on a Friday night with your tacos or your cheese. No! It's made of drywall and aspirin and glucose.
I don't think aspirin's made out of
ethanol. Corn. Ethanol's made out of corn.
Well,
what do you think they cut gasoline with? Ethanol, corn. And it's turning the scarecrows gay, and it's making our children dumb. They're dumbing us down. And you know what? The second part, the most vile, makes me scared. And I see that with my own eyes. My own eyes. In churches all across the world, they perform witchcraft. Witchcraft, and they pretend to eat human flesh and drink human blood, and they worship us human sacrifice. They are trying to kill us. You're not gonna control us, elites. You're not gonna control us. We are free men, and we will not be controlled. The New World Order will not have their way with us. I'm telling you, they're after us, and they want to dumb us down. Oh, no. I hear someone coming. I have to go.
Oh,
that was quite a correspondent you have there, Mr. Skids.
Jimmy screened him before we started the show, so I didn't have time to check his credentials. The idea of a church performing a ritual where they ate, the body and blood of somebody, and they worship somebody who was sacrificed.
That seems a little unrealistic to me.
I don't know if that's very plausible. I really have a hard time believing that. I think he was here just to sell his erection dysfunction pills. We'll have to maybe see if he's got some of those. So I'm sorry we interrupted you with that discussion. So, but you mentioned on January 6th, kind of you were worried about exactly what was going to go down and, all the steps that were going on. So when the protesters moved from the White House and down to the Capitol building, did you expect what happened that day?
Well, mobs have an inertia of their own, don't they? Right?
Yes.
So you get people jazzed up like that and send them in a direction, then something's going to happen once they get there. I wasn't surprised at the amount of damage. I was actually surprised that it didn't get any more serious than it did, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. So do you feel, Jimmy looks like he's got to drop up for a second. Make sure. Are you okay? Your connection still okay?
Yeah,
you dropped out for a
thanks for
second.
the timeout. They couldn't hear me. You should have heard all the nice things I was saying about Andy.
I know. You were just kind of there in glee.
And what's with the guy? Fuck. God, why do you hire these people, Skids?
You were the one who screened him, so...
Yeah, but he seemed all right. I guess going down that rabbit trail and trying to investigate all these conspiracies really made him lose it.
Yeah, like I said, I think he's been taking too many of his erectile dysfunction pills. But we were just talking about the fact that the crowd, as it moved, do we feel that they were incited by anybody?
Well, the thing is, that mob had been primed by evangelical Christianity for decades. That's what it was. It just wasn't one person.
Didn't what's his face start even a website 2 years beforehand to stop the steal? I think it was Steve Bannon started a website 2 years before. They've been putting the idea in that it was going to get stolen. They had it in place months before.
Every speech that Trump gave, he talked about the only way that I'm going to lose if the election's stolen. So he had been planting these seeds. So here we come. We are now 6 months after the event. And this is kind of why we're talking about this, is that this week here in the United States, there was a actual televised commission hearing on the testimonies of some of the Capitol police officers that actually went through the events of that day. And they were telling their stories in hopes that, we could get to bottom of exactly what happened, because we've been hearing from day one that this was not an insurrection, that it was not a violent riot, that it was merely a peaceful protest. And there might have been some bad eggs in the batch, and that those that were doing wrong were probably plants from Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and then it wasn't the good Trump-loving supporters that did this. Now,
I heard that the police were just welcoming them with hugs and kisses.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a big love-in. It was a big good time.
If anybody watched those hearings, which I did, those stories are horrifying. They're heartbreaking, and you cannot watch some of the footage and not, understand that this was a violent act. This was an insurrection. This was meant to go and hurt people. Many of the people in the crowds were chanting, kill such and such politicians that they didn't like. Anybody that stood in their way, they shouted slurs. They threatened with death. But here's the thing. This is the real topic that I wanted to bring up. Conservative media spent this week, before the hearings even started, defaming the Capitol police officers and making them feel like they're not the same police officers that when we say back the blue, they don't mean these guys. These guys are the enemy. Did you see any of those stories, Andy?
Sure. You can't swing a dead cat without seeing one of those stories, to tell you the truth. And that's their whole game plan, right? Is to try to distract people from seeing what the truth is, to seeing what is in front of their eyes. You just have to see the film, and they're like, no, don't. Once again, it's just like evangelical Christianity. Don't look at the evidence that you can see with your eyes. Listen to what we are telling you. We are the authority. We are the ones to tell you what's right and what's wrong. Who you should
isn't that from 1984?
You could say it's from 1984 or from the book of Romans. You could say it is the exact same thing.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson was one of them to first jump on this bandwagon by kind of dragging, I believe his name was Henry Dunn. Do I have that name right? Yeah, he dragged his name through the mud, calling him a left-wing political activist who only had political reasons for his testimony, that his testimony was charged by the fact that he wanted to be famous, that he wanted to push the liberal socialist message forward, and wanted to make all the Trump supporters look bad, and that nothing that he said was true.
That's what we call an ad hominem attack.
Yes. And Laura Ingraham this week, I believe it was on Monday on her show, jumped on that bandwagon. Well, no, it was the day of the hearings, because what she was actually doing was giving out fake awards on the acting performance of those who testified. Yeah. Definitely making it sound like they were just hamming it up and that none of this happened. So even when they showed videos of what these officers were going through, they were just dismissing them of, well, this is not really what happened. There's a political motive here, even though we're clearly seeing it.
Well, it's the right strategy is to accuse. And once again, this is evangelical Christian strategy of accusing others what they are guilty of.
The projecting. We talked about this last week and what cults do. They project. And when you said, I think it's good. Can you please explain to our audience what an ad hominem is, please?
So that's when, let's say, Skids is making a cogent argument and I want to derail that argument or convince people that he's wrong. I will say, look at him. He has glasses. He's a big stupid head.
And that's right. So it's an insult, and it's almost like a red herring.
Well, that's what it is. It's the man. I believe that's the exact Latin, is that you're attacking the man, the person, as against to the argument.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what Fox News does. That's what Fox News does. They do distractions, and they attack the people and not the arguments.
Wait a minute. Don't you have footage of another politician doing the same thing? Skids?
Yeah, where I live, there's this local politician who's a real sleazeball. And he put out a political ad this week, which, he jumped right on the bandwagon. And I actually happened to record it. So, we can go ahead and take a quick look. My fellow Americans, I come to you today with a heavy heart and a heavy responsibility as a caretaker for our great democracy. I don't bear these responsibilities because of the lavish perks, the millions of dollars in corporate payouts, the power and privilege my position carries. No, I bear these great responsibilities because of my love for Jesus and good old American freedom. I do not say this lightly, my friends, but our very democracy is at stake. This is no warning bell, but the real deal. On September 11th, 2001, American citizens were attacked in America, on American ground, by satanic, deadly, definitely not American foreign terrorists. And on January 6, 2021, America was once again attacked. But this time, the terrorism didn't come from another country. It came from right here within our own police ranks. What do we know about these so-called Capitol police officers? These apparent keepers of the law? What do we know about any of them? I've never heard of any of these police officers until today, and I'm betting that you have not heard of them either. What is going on with Sleepy Joe Biden and this extreme secret police force he has? For all we know, any one of them could be a communist, or a socialist, or a Muslim, or dare I say, maybe one of them could actually be an atheist. Can you imagine having your life on the line, and when you call 911, in his own image? Jesus invented democracy, and Jesus made Donald J. Trump. Let no man take down what God has made. And God's will was impeded by the fake election. Donald J. Trump should still be president. But because of the rigging of the 2020 election by millions of people casting their votes, God's kingdom was stolen from him. On January 6, American patriots went to the Capitol building to First Amendment their democracy. That's America's building. And those were America's patriots, born right here in the US of A, with American blood pumping through their American veins. They were just trying to be patriotic Americans. And what those Capitol police officers did was get in the way of democracy. And quite honestly, they acted as agents of Satan. They may not be demons, but they sure are working for Old Scratch. Those police officers that unfortunately lost their lives, it was due to the negligence of their co-workers. So we're not following proper procedures, and we're just being careless. These are the bad apples that you keep hearing about in the media, and these are the bad apples that we should be throwing the book at. Freedom is not free. It requires hard work and sacrifice. January 6th will go down in history as the day where thousands of brave Americans came to the Capitol and sacrificed their day to show their love for their country and their president. And how do we repay them? By vicious, violent attacks by reckless Capitol police officers who give policing a bad name. Sleepy Joe Biden and his secret socialist police force have decided that you can't handle American freedom. Joe Biden learned how to lie from Satan himself. And he is corrupting our brave men and women in blue. We mustn't listen to these lies. That's not the America I grew up in. That's not the America I want to live in. I know it's not the America that you know and love. It's time to tell Sleepy Joe Biden and his secret socialist police force, you're fired.
This political ad has been sponsored by Baby Jesus Hates Filthy Democrats.
Yeah, I think he's got a good point. Hold on, Andy. I got quiet in here all of a sudden.
Yeah, because you muted us, dumbass.
Well, somebody usually likes to drink with ice in his cup.
Ice shaming.
I'm the
worst kind of
dumbass.
shaming. Oh.
Ice shaming me again. Jesus
But
Christ.
back to our video.
I did read in the Bible that that Jesus made Trump king of our democracy. That's what I read. It has to be true.
I know. And all those millions and millions of people cheating by their votes. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But that's the thing. Again, we make fun of this, but that ad is not that far from the truth. We poke fun at it, but would you be surprised if that actually played on air?
Not really.
No,
No, it's not that far. Those fuckers are like cartoon villains, I swear.
Well, that's the nature of a lot of these despots. Before they get into power and before they start killing people, they're referred to as clowns, like Benito Mussolini or Idi Amin in Uganda. They are considered to be clowns by a lot of people until the bodies start piling up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I almost feel that we're kind of lucky that we have not got to that point. But
we are so lucky because it's the second term when these despots are in. Like we're talking about President Erdogan of Turkey, for an example. It's the second term that they solidify their power. And that's when they may never leave after that. They might become president for life.
Mm-hmm. So, not to be like overly doom and gloom on this, but in an upcoming election, we may have to face this same challenge again. We may see, even whether it's Donald Trump himself or whoever their chosen candidate that day is. With everything that's going on, can this happen again? Do you think that we may see a repeat of this?
Definitely. Once again, complacency is our enemy. There's a lot of talk among the atheist community that evangelical Christianity is dying here in the United States. But I have to tell you, how much of the population does it take to overthrow the government? How much? Like maybe 10%, maybe? I don't know what the certain number is, but well-moneyed, powerful, outspoken minority groups in history have been able to overtake entire governments. The Bolsheviks in Russia during 1917, they were a small group in the country. National Socialists in Germany only got 33% of the vote at their high water point.
Wow.
So, yeah, 25% of our country is mad. And I just want to say that 9/11 made us aware of the dangers of radical Islam, the existential danger that we face with radical Islam. And we should be looking at January 6th, to tell you the truth, as a wake-up moment for our brothers and sisters to say that evangelical Christianity poses the same kind of danger to us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess we'll kind of wrap the show up with, where do we go from here? What is our best course forward, since Trump removed so many of those safeguards that protects us from the churches taking so much power and putting it towards political candidates who they can kind of steer to do pretty much what they want. What do we need to do, in your opinion, to keep this from happening again?
You can do a lot of things as an individual citizen. They want you to feel powerless. They want you to stay silent. Do not do that. Engage with your local community. There are local groups. There are local elections that you can vote in. Because the thing is, the Republican base, very good at dominating midterm elections and community elections. Go out there and get organized. whether you're going to join the Democratic Socialists of America, whether or not you're going to be involved in the Democratic Party, whether or not you're involved with your local humanist group or even the Satanic Temple, because by my fictitious God, the Satanic Temple does good work too.
Mhm.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
So
do.
be involved, get plugged in, because the future depends on it. And I don't want to, I don't want to be like that guy sounding trite, but we just saw what could happen. What could happen if we are still asleep in 6 months or in a year or 2 years? Get involved.
Yeah, and if anybody watching has not watched the hearings, or this media has actually been available several times. There was some new footage shown. Watch what happened. Get yourself educated on exactly what happened that day. Witness the fact that it was a violent attempt to overthrow a government. Learn what laws that they are changing when a president is in power, whether it's Republican or Democratic. Does not matter. Make sure you pay attention to these little things, these little chips away at that kind of stuff. Other than that, Jimmy, do you have any final thoughts before we let Andy go?
We just got to keep speaking out. We just got to keep speaking out and being intact and being knowledgeable of what's going on, and stop ignoring what the religious right are doing, because they're vying for power and they're not stopping. They're like, that's the problem. We need to become more united, and all these little groups, these splinter groups, we need to start forming together and like getting on the same page, because they all are, and that's why they're winning.
And no matter what anybody says, you hear the thing. It's like, well, my aunt, she's a sweet little old lady who's that happy little Christian. She doesn't think this way. She's not the problem. The problem is when they donate money to churches. Where does that money go? You got to find out where this money goes. And a lot of churches are getting more politically active every day. And all that money from the pulpit that they make, there's no taxes on it. There's no reporting of that money. They can send that wherever they want. And all they got to do is have a bake sale, like maybe once a month, to cover up all the thousands and thousands of dollars that they can spend to put these type of politicians in power, and not just presidents, local power, state power, and stuff like that. It's very important to let people know this is what the money goes towards.
Yeah. And I just want to add, if you have kids, then you can't shield them from this. You can talk about these matters with them in an age appropriate way, but you don't want them to be ignorant about what's going on in the country.
Yeah.
I agree. Andy, thank you so much for your time.
Andy Hall from Laughing in Disbelief. It has been our pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You guys are great. You're doing the Lord's work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We try our best.
And we're
Well, home from the movies at last. Looks like it, Aunt Mattie. Huh? What, Dad?
Hello, son. Well, daughter, how was the moving picture tonight?
Lovely. Mice, that's what it was. Just a lot of mice. There wasn't anybody killed in the whole thing.
Oh, well, then I'll stick to these. These don't talk.
And that big cluck Norman Maine was in the picture tonight. Never does anything but kiss a lot of girls.
Norman Maine is one of the best actors in pictures.
You and your movies, that's all you think about. You shouldn't be allowed to go to him at all, if you're asking me.
That should have said treat yourself and watch our show.
That's right. That's right.
Jimmy,
our show is a treat.
It is a treat. And it was a treat having Andy on. Jimmy, I'm sorry. I cut you off. Were you going to say something important?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I just wanted to let you know, your grandma made me pierogies. I went over there, and you know what? She's pissed that you went to her birthday party instead of being here with the people, bringing them the information. She's like, I don't like him very much. I like you better, Jimmy. I wish my grandson was as cool as you. I was like, I know, Grandma Skids, but what are you going to do?
My grandma hasn't made me pierogies in years, and she made you pierogies?
Yep, she did, and they were delicious.
Was there something else you were going to try to say?
Yes, that's right. That's right. I was going to tell everyone, don't listen to Skids when he says he doesn't like to be tickled, because whenever I do it to him, he always giggles. So
that's because he tickles me in the right spot.
There's that old boomer. Anyways, you want me to tell the people?
Tell the people.
So I've begged you people. I've begged you to like and share and subscribe to our show. And then I tried seducing you with my wily ways. Now, I'm bringing out the dad, and I'm telling you, you better like and subscribe, or I'm turning the show around. You hear me? No more of this bullshit. No more. You like and subscribe, and you like the show, and you laugh, and you have a good time. I've had it up to here with you. So enough. That's it. Like, share, subscribe.
So if you don't want us to turn the show around right now, please make sure you hit that like button. You share this video with your friends. Yes. And most importantly, you subscribe to the channel, because not only will you get to see this amazing show, you'll get to see all the other shows on the Atheist Network group. That includes The Price is Right. That includes Tart and all the other great shows found on this channel. So from producer Wes. No, not my name. I forgot producer Wes. We didn't even introduce him. Wes.
We did. We did.
We barely. Wes, come say hi to the people. Yes, well said, Wes. Well said. But from producer Wes, the Reverend Brother Heathen, Jimmy Lou, and myself, Skids the Clown. We'll see you next week.
What the fuck's going on here, Skids?
You told Wes that we would come over to his place and watch his new video. So be nice while we're here.
I can't be nice. This is stupid. I most certainly didn't agree to this bullshit.
It's not stupid. He worked really hard on it. You're being mean.
I don't care. He needs to know this is stupid. What? Who's gonna clean up that mess?
I don't know why she's got her hammer stuck in the teeth. Just pull it out! Pull it out! Pull it out! Oh my god!
Oh my god, this is terrible. What is she doing? What the? Oh my god! You know, they're not going to clean that up. You know they're not going to.
If it were me, I would have smashed it into a million pieces. Like, barely swing the hammer. I mean, come on, put some oomph into it.
This isn't cool, Wes. This is senseless violence. I'm very concerned about him.
Is no one going to bring up the alpaca?